Hi, welcome to another Power Blast podcast. Laziness. I don't mind the feeling of just chilling out and mindlessly going about my day from time to time, but let's face it, as a world, we are out of shape, we're short on time, we have no energy, we still want results, am I right? But for many of us, we just don't feel like putting in the work to get the results because we know it's going to take time and effort. And in today's episode, I'm going to help you get fit even if you feel lazy. Stay tuned. Hey there, my friend Perry Tinsley here, creator of the Power Blast podcast, the power of possibility, passion, and purpose. And in this episode, we're going to talk about things to get in shape, even if you're feeling lazy, even if you've got a lot of lazy habits. I think today's stuff is really going to do some amazing things for you. But before I dig in, I want to thank you. Thank you for tuning in, whether this is your first time coming on Power Blast podcast or you've been a regular listener. Thank you so very much. And if you're over in your podcast app, please drop in, leave an honest rating and review. That helps other people discover this show. And if you're tuning in on YouTube, catching the video version, please be an awesome friend. Smash the subscribe button and the notifications bell. That way you get notified each time a new show drops. And it would be really crazy awesome if you gave a thumbs up on this episode and dropped in a comment. That helps with the YouTube algorithm, and I pop in there and answer those and reply to those comments as well. So you absolutely rock, my friend. All right, let's talk about this thing that often comes up. You're feeling lazy. Now, maybe you're just not into exercise. That could be. Maybe you just habitually procrastinate. Or maybe you've just gotten into some lazy habits and they're just harder and harder to break as time goes on. But you're at this point where you feel that you need to do something to get in shape for whatever reason it is. Maybe you're just sick and tired of being sick and tired. I know that's where I was. Or perhaps there's a health reason or a medical reason for doing so. I get it. I used to tell people all the time, if I could just get in shape without having to exercise or work out at all, I would be all over that. But it doesn't work that way. The body was meant to move, and so that's why I decided to research this topic for this week, and I wish I would have known. I wish I would have known some of these ways to get fit when I felt lazy, something that I could consistently do, because I just could not get into it. And I always had this grand scheme that everything had to be perfect and everything had to be an hour workout, and when was I going to fit this in? And I'd get all psyched up about it, and then when reality would hit and life would throw me curves, well, I'd get off track. So you and I, we're just simply struggling to embrace that short-term work that we have to put in for the long-term benefits. So you got to kind of trust the process. And we're naturally inclined to put off our biggest goals, for whatever reason it is, a doubt, fear, just the sheer amount of time it's going to take. That's usually for a lot of people, they're not seeing the results fast enough, and it's just like, I don't want to put in that much work for that much time. We tend to like being comfortable. We like being certain. And while we might not like the current status that we're in or like being out of shape, it's home and we get used to it. Staying comfortable, it doesn't require that much work. And besides, if you're really out of shape, you probably have it in your mind that it's just going to take too much time, too much effort to really even make a difference. So yeah, getting in shape does take work. And so if that's a deal breaker for you, this might be the end of that podcast for you. But I find that life is always changing. Whether you strive to stay in that comfort zone or not, life is always going to change. And for many of us, staying comfortable becomes uncomfortable. So I found some great ideas for you today. And while it's easy to think, that if I'm going to get in shape, I got to sign up for a gym membership. Seriously, you can do all these things without having to pay a health club membership or go. A lot of times people get really intimidated by going to a gym. I know I did. That's why I started working out at home. It was like, man, I have let myself go enough, and I just don't feel comfortable going to the gym. because I had in my mindset that everybody at the gym was already fit, right? But the truth is, you can exercise anywhere. The first thing that you definitely need to get out of your way is to ditch the all or nothing attitude. You don't have to be perfect when you start. You just got to start. That perfection thinking usually leads to overthinking, and that usually leads to inaction and not doing anything about it and giving up way too early. You just got to do something. Just do something. Be something. Just go for it, right? Okay, I have lazy habits. You're saying that to yourself. Accept them. I mean, it's rare when someone with lazy habits suddenly wakes up one morning and they become this hyper motivated person. Okay, all those old habits are gone. It could happen, I suppose, but doubtful. Instead, just accept that you currently have some habits, then eventually you're going to improve them. That you had this desire to improve, and you realize this is a process. So it's going to take a little bit of time. Once you accept yourself for who you are, then you can start to work past it, okay? So tip number one, I love this one. I actually got it from a website called Nerd Fitness. Love the name of that one. This one was called temptation bundling. I'm like, what is that? Well, there's actually some research about it. The goal is to get us to do things that we need to do by combining it with something that we really want to do. Or, instead of like an either or, with a temptation, you actually do both. I'm not saying do squats while binging on cake or anything like that, but it's spending time doing a healthy activity while you're limiting an unhealthy one. So think like watching your favorite Netflix show while you're on a treadmill or an indoor spinning bike. Taking a walk outside or even on a treadmill, if you can only do that, and listen to your favorite podcast or your favorite audiobook, or even giving yourself permission to browse a favorite websites or even social media. Imagine that. If you limit yourself, you can't go on Instagram, you can't go on Facebook unless you're doing it while you're on the treadmill. Well, that might change into some power habits for you. Another tip here, and I kind of did this one. It's to bribe yourself. Now, my friend Rhonda, she told me that she, I get maybe it was a contract with herself, but I think it was kind of bribing too. She couldn't have her favorite breakfast and coffee until she got her workout done. So that was the deal. That could be perfect for, perfect for the person who's the coffee drinker. I mean, coffee and laziness, that kind of goes hand in hand, where it's like, okay, I'm not as lazy anymore because I need my coffee, right? So don't let yourself drink your morning mocha until you get your exercise done. Whoa, that's a powerful one, right? So make the bribe something that you're desperate for, or that you've got to have. You had this urgent passion to have. That could be getting on your TV show, that you're hooked on, or social media. So that was one of the tips I found today. I was like, I did that thing. My bribe was going out for pizza. And I couldn't go out for pizza that week unless I made it a contract. I had to drive at least an hour to get to the pizza place. So it had to be a really good, worthwhile pizza place. And I really, really loved. And I had to get my workouts done that week to earn my pizza, so to speak. And so that's kind of the way I bribe myself that way. It's a little bit different than doing an activity at the same time, but it was a little contract that I made with myself. Here's another one. You'll probably, I'm guessing most of you watching the podcast, I'm guessing that you'll love this next section. It's called Go for 10. And I love this one for sure because 10-minute workouts rock. I know it's really easy to put it off and say, they probably won't work. But man, my buddy Dan lost 40 pounds after consistently doing a 10-minute daily routine that he varied day by day over a year's time. And I will pop in his routine in the show notes so you can grab that. But super short workouts. They may sound simple, but they could be really, really effective and great for that person that's just running very short on time. Or you could use 10 as your rep count. doing 10 moves for 10 minutes. So let's say after running or marching in place for 10 minutes, you do, or not, sorry, let me repeat that. After running or marching in place for 1 minute, then you do 10 push-ups, 10 sit-ups, 10 squats, 10 lunges, 10 curls, 10 tricep kickbacks, 10 mountain climbers, and then finish with a minute of jumping jacks. Boom, 10 minutes done, and you got like a whole total body set. Or here's another one, and I hadn't done a routine like this until this past year. They call it AMRAP, A-M-R-A-P. It's a little acronym for as many rounds as possible. So you do as many rounds as you can in 10 minutes with a sequence of moves. For instance, 5 push-ups, 10 squats, 16 plank taps, 20 jumping jacks, and then rest for 45 seconds. That's round 1. Round 2, another 5 push-ups, another 10 squats, another 16 plank taps, another 20 jumping jacks. Rest 45 seconds. That's round 2. And you could keep going. See how many rounds you can get in, because you'll get stronger over time. You'll be able to bang out the push-ups and the squats and things a lot faster eventually. And to see how many rounds is possible that you can get in a 10-minute time. Another short, fast, sweet, does take effort, does take time. HIIT workouts. I mean, those are short and sweet, and that stands for high intensity interval training, where you go like 20 seconds full, or let's say you just go full on for, let's say, 20 seconds and 10 seconds off. I'm also thinking of Tabata in here. It's popping in my head. So if you Google HIIT workouts or Tabata workouts, you can go for short ones. HIIT workouts is where you're just going all out for a short duration of time and then resting for a longer period of time. Those intervals can change. I've done HIIT workouts that are 10 minutes long, 15 minutes long, 20 minutes long, and wow, I mean, the calorie burn goes on for hours and hours and hours. If that sounds a little bit too intense for you, and then your lazy habits aren't wanting to ramp it up that fast, think 10 to 20 minute walk a day. Think doing it during your lunch or before or after dinner, or even a brisk walk with the dogs. And I'm not saying leisurely walk. I mean, you're wanting to get in shape, right? So that's some things. And then I was searching, like, well, what do other people do out there? And I was on a site where people who were feeling lazy, here's some of the things that they do. A lot of times people worked on the mindset stuff. They said, you know what, I just focus on how good I'm going to feel afterwards, or I'm going to focus on the benefits and worth, and or how it's going to be, and why I'm doing so much good for myself. For me, that was a hard sell, but I could appreciate that, because mindset's a big part of it, isn't it? But I heard one person say, I do the easiest, most brainless exercise I can think of, and I just get into a plank and do that for 30 seconds, or I get into a cat-cow yoga pose for a bit, and I just keep going, and eventually my energy starts to kick in. Another person says, I do a yoga warm-up a little bit, especially if I'm in a lazy spell. And there was one person that said, I start small. I just do 5 push-ups, 5 crunches, 5 squats, and I just don't think about it. I just do it. Once I get into that habit, then I can build off of there. So, that may be the mindset that you want to take for that. Another couple tips remaining here are to go for convenience. When exercise is an inconvenient thing where you got to really go out of your way to make it happen, chances are it's not going to happen. So make exercise convenient for yourself. Pick the best time when you've got the most energy, when you're not going to resist it. For me, I built in a pattern where it's like, what? I always resist exercise because I got home from work and then I would chill out for a bit until I felt like it. I nipped that in the bud and said, I get home from work, let the dogs out. While the dogs are out, I'm getting dressed for my workout. I bring in the dogs. I go and get my workout right away. No sitting down. Actually, the sitting down and chilling out part would be part of the reward as I drink my post-recovery shake. So that's the way I did that. I had to earn that shake, but I also earned my little chill out time. And then also, as you go throughout your day, I don't want to dismiss this one. It's to stand up. do yourself a favor. A lot of times we just sit around so much. Set an alarm on your phone once an hour just to get up and walk around. My watch alerts me every time, all the time. I don't have it on right now, but I always get those alerts. It's just stop what you're doing, stand up, walk around. It doesn't have to be for a long time, but you're going to feel a lot more better. You're going to feel less lazy and tired and kicking a little bit more energy, and you're getting in some movement. A few other bonus tips that I came across just before I started the recording of this show, to get out and run or jog for just one song. Now make it a good one, make it an uplifting one, and make it a little bit longer, maybe 4 or 5 minutes. That was one tip. And another one was to work out, do exercises during commercials. Now, I know in today's day and age, we aren't sticking around on TV and catching the commercials. A lot of times we've caught the DVR stuff and we're skipping through those. But if you want to challenge yourself and you're finding commercial pockets of time, just use a list like I just gave you before, that 10-minute list where you do a circuit of lunges and burpees and jogging and skipping and squatting during any ads that are popping on. So there you go. Just because you're feeling lazy or you have lazy habits, who doesn't? It doesn't mean you can't get in shape. Consistency, that's going to be your friend, especially if you have a strong desire and a big reason why you want to get in shape and get fit. Most of the time we just need to level up our standards, limit the stories that we tell ourselves, and just show up and do it. Keep it simple, keep it doable, and be consistent. There it is. Eventually you're going to develop healthier habits. And so I'd love to hear which tip was your biggest takeaway today. So if you're over on the YouTube, drop it in the comments, or you can email me, perry@putyourselffirst.com. I'd love to have that. Reach out to me with any questions that you might have. Food, fitness, even more ideas to achieve your health goals. I love helping people remove obstacles and barriers that often get in the way of achieving your health and fitness goals. And if you'd like more motivation, more tips, strategies, then join my Upside Down Fitness community. It's free, and we're a fun group of people striving to make healthier habits in this awesome chapter of life. We give 52 weeks of free coaching in that group. I promise you'll love it. You'll get a lot of takeaways there. Head over to upsidedownfit.com and you can get all the details there. That's all I have for this week. Thanks so much for tuning in. I appreciate you so much. Please share, subscribe, leave an honest rating and review in your podcast app to help others discover this show. You're kind of paying it forward when you do that. And for those of you on YouTube catching the video version, please hit the subscribe button and smash that notifications bell so you get the alert each time a new show drops. You absolutely rock, my friend. That's all I have for this week. And as always, remember, it's never too late. We'll see you next week.